Welcome to today's episode of the Beach Bucket Podcast. And today we are in Avalon talking with Sean McNulty at the Carefree Boat Club of South Jersey. Welcome to the podcast, Sean.
Thanks for having me, Gretchen. I'm excited to do this.
So today in Avalon at the Commodore Bay Marina, this is your location. You've been here 5 years, and this is where you started the Carefree Boat Club of South Jersey. Is that right?
Correct. So this we just started our fifth season here. So we started here, I guess it was 2019, with 6 boats. And I think we finished our first year with 20 members, and now we have about 150 members here. About 30 between Ocean City and Margate.
And what is your fleet up to?
27 boats now.
Okay.
So we opened at All Seasons Marina last year, right over the 34th Street Bridge to Ocean City, and then we just opened at Scott Stock in Margate.
Very nice. Now let's talk about how it works.
No problem. So essentially, joining a boat club is an alternative to buying a boat. So once you join, members pay an initiation fee and then monthly dues, and then they basically get to use the boats as much as they want. So we have an online reservation system. Each member can always have 4 reservations on the calendar at all times. So they're half-day reservations. So our reservations are about 5.5 hours. They go from 8 to 1:30 or 2:30 to 8 p.m. And essentially, as soon as you use one, you make another one. Or as soon as you cancel it, you make another one. So they're not limited by the month or the week or anything like that. It's just you can have 4 booked, and it's a constant rollover. You can also just call or text us any day you don't have a reservation and just say, hey guys, what's available? We'll let you know, and you come take that boat out.
So if you kind of wake up one day and you already have your reservations in, but you're thinking, hey, I want to go today, you can call to see if a boat's available?
Exactly. Or if the weather gets a little nicer, or you finished work a little earlier than you expected, and you just say, hey, it's available, guys. Or even a lot of Saturdays and Sundays when you would think, obviously our busiest days, we get a ton of cancellations too, because kids don't feel good, or we're having fun on the beach, we don't want to leave, or we didn't make it down this weekend. So we do a ton of spur of the moment reservations even on our busy days.
Very nice. Now let me ask you, let's talk about training.
Absolutely.
When people buy into this program, and I'm sure some have had boats or have driven boats before, but some maybe have not. What do you offer in terms of training for your customers?
No, absolutely. And it's funny you say that, because I think in our experience, the members that have owned boats before that have actually been the bigger problems, because they have some shortcut they know, or some way they used to take with their boat. But no, training is unlimited. Boating's not fun if you're not confident. It's not fun if you're not comfortable. That's how you make mistakes. Making the wrong mistake can ruin boating for you forever. So
Sure.
Training is probably our biggest selling point. So we have a number of captains on staff. We put our trainers through a Train the Trainer program by the National Safe Boating Council. So they get certified as instructors. So when you join, even if you had a captain's license, no one's touching the wheel of the boat without 3 or 4 hours on the water with us. But that training's unlimited. I'd rather train somebody 20 times than have to call and tell somebody, hey, you're not going out this afternoon because the boat was damaged this morning.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, are you training them to use specific boats? Are you training them to be aware of like the bay, or how to get back out to the ocean, or what kind of training are people generally asking for when they come back year in and year out?
So a little bit of everything. When we first start, we train you on our 24-foot sailfish dual console for the most part, because we feel like if you can handle that boat, you can handle most of the fleet. But we have members all the time that say, hey, can someone just train me on the pontoon boat so I'm comfortable? Or we have a twin engine center console that once you use our other boats about 10 times and no incidents, you're comfortable, we'll train you on the twin engine boat that's a little better for offshore training. But this morning we actually had a member come that just said, hey, I want to run the inlet for the first time. Can someone just do it with me? I'm planning on going to look for dolphins with the family next weekend. And I just want to, before I go on the ocean with kids on board, I want to go out and do it with somebody that knows what they're doing. Sometimes it's just I want to practice docking or whatever.
Sure.
So we'll do as much training as you want.
Nice. Now let's talk about your fleet of boats. people want to be able to fish, people want to be able to water ski, people want to be able to cruise and go different places and to restaurants that are on the shore. You know, what do you offer?
That's it. We really try to have a diverse fleet of boats. We don't want it to feel like just kind of a cookie cutter rental kind of company. We want it to feel like you would own these boats. So we try to go with not only the diverse fleet of boats, upgraded features, GPS, Bluetooth speakers, kind of upgraded the extras you can kind of add on a package like you would if you were buying a boat.
Mhm.
We also try to go a little bit higher horsepower than a typical boat club. So pretty much all of our boats are 2 to 300 horsepower. But yeah, we have center consoles from 22 to 26 feet. We have dual consoles that are all about 24 feet. We have 26-foot bow riders, 25-foot tri-tunes, and then we have 26-foot brig rib boats, which are inflatable. They're pretty cool. They're kind of like what you would see the Coast Guard on. Um, and then we have our smallest boat would be our little 19-foot Carolina skiff. That's kind of for the back bay flounder fishing. But out of our 27 boats, I think you can tube and water ski off of 24 of them. We try to make all the boats dual purpose, so we have a bunch of our boats that aren't necessarily fishing boats that can still handle the ocean. So that way, every time someone wants to cruise, they're not taking a fishing boat away from someone. Some of our pontoon boats for the back bay can fit 12 people and you can tube and ski, but they still have some rod holders. So we really try to make the boats all multi-purpose, but have a wide variety of boats as well.
Nice. Now, what about insurance?
So we cover insurance, and every member does have a $2,500 deductible. But we have it's kind of the gold standard for boating, a Chubb marine liability policy, $1 million coverage. So even if you were to total the boat, knock on wood, that's never happened. The most you're liable for is 2,500. And then that doesn't cost anything extra. So the only thing members really have to pay for outside of their monthly dues and stuff for fun, like tubes or water skis, is their fuel.
Okay.
But they never have to fuel the boats. Our staff fuels it for them, and then we have a gauge on all our engines that tells us exactly how much they used, and we just put it on their monthly statement. So it's 3.7 gallons. Pay for 3.7 gallons.
Nice. And we were talking a little bit about customer service. It sounds like you really focus on that. You know, when the customer shows up at the door, it sounds like you have staff here helping them from the minute they're stepping out of the car until the minute they're on the boat. Is that right?
That's one of our biggest things that we try to do to separate ourselves from not even necessarily competitors, but just the boat club industry in general. We try to really overstaff. So this summer we have 9 full-time year-round guys now, and we'll probably have between 50 and 60 summer help.
Wow.
Which allows us to do a lot of things other than just be there. It's great because every time you pull up, there's someone there waiting to carry your stuff to the boat. Or if you're bringing a tube, our staff can blow it up for you, get it all tied up, get you ready to go. Same thing when you get back in. Our guys are there waiting for you, get you on and off the boat. But having a large staff also really allows us to do a few things. Number one, keep the boats very well maintained. One of the complaints I often hear about boat clubs in general is that at the end of every season, the boats are trashed. I have to give it to our operations guys. I mean, they do an unbelievable job of keeping the boats in tip-top shape. And part of being able to do that is having so many staff members on board. It also allows us to do awesome social events. So once a month, we block off boats, members sign up, and we'll pick a new waterfront restaurant where we do a 3-hour open bar. Our staff drives the boats, members can bring some friends, and they're great because members get to meet other members who are getting into boating. They get to learn how to get to a few new restaurants on the way. And learn how to get to an awesome destination without having to be the one driving for the first time.
That's great.
That's really fun. We do fishing seminars. We just had a flounder fishing seminar this weekend at the Avalon Library. We have one coming up at Tightlines at Summers Point. But if we didn't have the number of staff members we had, we couldn't be pulling guys to do all this stuff and then still also run our operation that we need to run.
That's great. So you're showing people around to local destinations and driving them there and driving them back on the boat?
It's awesome. They're a lot of fun. And yeah, it's great because now we have relationships with these different restaurants and stuff like that. So I've had members come back and tell me that when they go to the wharf in Wildwood, they're wearing their Carefree shirt. They've been able to get a table quicker. The dock staff at the Deauville looks out for them and gets to know them a little bit, and they know our boats. And having those relationships with those places is definitely just helps members feel more comfortable when they're pulling up somewhere, and the person working there recognizes that boat, knows they're one of our members. Same thing with the Coast Guard. They know our boats. Because the Coast Guard, they do safety checks all the time. We thank them for that. We don't want anybody out in the water without doing that. But now that they know our boats, it's really smooth and not intimidating when a member gets pulled for a routine safety check because the Coast Guard goes, all right, I know it's a Carefree boat. Show me where the life jackets are.
Sure.
Show me whatever. And we go through that with our members before they leave. So it's always, I think I've got 3 messages this year about how easy, the Coast Guard check was
Very
because of
nice.
how the staff ran through it with them and everything on board.
Very nice. Now, is there an option for members to buy a boat?
So we have had a few members end up buying a boat from us. So we try to sell our boats every 2 years, whether that's to a member or anybody. One of the great things about buying a boat from a boat club is we're basically able to get our boats at wholesale pricing because we're in a network of national clubs around the country. So we've been able to save people, between $20,000 to $40,000 on our boats after 2 years. Some people get a little nervous because the number of hours we put on our boats is pretty high. So in general, people get nervous once a boat has more than 300 engine hours on it. But it's nice because if they're run regularly and maintained the right way, those engines will last for 2,000 hours.
Sure.
So typically after 2 seasons, we'll have about 500 to 700 hours on a boat. But we can also print you out basically every single time the boat's been touched. We can give you a record of every maintenance we've done on it ourselves. And a lot of times we'll help you kind of get set up and learn the boat and stuff like that. So we actually have had quite a few members who have ended up purchasing boats from us.
That's pretty cool.
And actually 4 or 5 of them have also kept their membership.
Oh, wow.
Because they're like, if my boat gets damaged, or we'll let you split it with a friend, you can have a second person on the account. So we've had a couple members buy a boat, bring it to Florida. They share it with a friend up here, and they're like, I still have access to 27 other boats. And once you pay your initiation fee your first year, that's kind of a bigger commitment. After that, it's a little over $6,000 a year for access to the whole fleet of boats. So a lot of people think that's a great insurance policy.
Absolutely.
So that's been a cool part of the business that we obviously didn't know what we were getting into, and we're learning along the way. But we try to sell the boats every 2 seasons.
Now, in terms of membership, can you share your membership? Is it a family membership? How does that membership work?
So the way pretty much every boat club works is that there's 2 members on each account to check the boats in and out. Most clubs require that second person be a spouse or have the same address, or sometimes they'll charge more or do something different if you want to add somebody else. Our approach is a little bit more that this is the shore, and everyone has a different setup with in-laws or friends or even coworkers.
Sure.
And they're not necessarily here full time. So we try to be pretty lenient about that. So we'll let you name anybody you want as the second person on your account as long as they're 25 years old. So we have a lot of members that share with a friend or a family member or something like that.
Who is the Carefree Boat Club of South Jersey good for?
It's really, we have a wide variety of boaters. I always say it's great for the casual boater, to own a boat. You really got to love boating. There's just so much work and so much maintenance that goes into it. So I always say the casual boater. It used to be like, oh, you're a golf guy or you're a boat guy.
Mm-hmm.
Most of our members are both, that kind of thing. But it's also a great option for serious boaters. We have a ton of members that have owned 3, 4, 5 boats, and they still love being on the water. They just don't have the time to maintain it like they used to. And it's funny, like, you expect them to tell you about the normal benefits, like, oh, I don't have to deal with this maintenance or winterization or kind of the whole list of stuff we advertise to. But one of the things I was never really expecting to hear that I hear pretty often from our members that used to own boats is that they find themselves using the club a lot more for short trips. So they go out a lot more because an hour is just an hour. It's not 30 minutes of prep work. It's not 40 minutes when you get back of washing the engines out or having to put the covers on and everything. So in the middle of an afternoon, they're like, I want to get out of the house. It's worth it to go hop on a boat for an hour. So they said they find themselves actually on the water a little bit more. But we also have a lot of new boaters that just don't really know what type of boat they want to buy yet, or they want the training, who have every intention of after a couple of years purchasing their own boat. So you kind of fit whatever niche you're looking for with the club, and we can kind of meet a lot of different needs.
Very nice. Now, I know that you also mentioned that you have some paddle boards and jet skis here.
Yep, so the way the jet skis work and the paddle boards, basically you can reserve them just like a boat, but we don't count them as part of the fleet when we do our member to boat ratio. So since we've opened, we've been able to keep our member to boat ratio under 8 members per boat. So a couple of years ago, we made the decision to lower our ratio a little bit just to have kind of the best availability.
Sure.
And when we did that, we added the jet skis first and then some paddle boards. And essentially, if you book them, it's one of your 4 reservations. But if you don't, you're just happy other people are booking them because it makes the boats more available.
Mm-hmm.
But every time you book a jet ski, you're booking 2 skis. Um, the member or co-member does have to be on one of the skis, but they can bring anybody they want that is 18 with a boating license to drive the second one. So members, that's a great way to bring some friends or let the friend drive for a day or do it with someone that's not necessarily on the account or here all the time. They just have to have their boating license.
Sure. Now let's talk a little bit about a boating license, because obviously you need a boating license, and that's training that they get outside of Carefree Boating Club.
Yep, the boat license, most people seem to do it online now. You can also do an in-person course, but it seems like most of our members do the online course. I don't really care how they get their boating license. I care a lot more about our training, but they do have to have that ahead of time. I believe online, if you go to boat-ed.com, that's the one most of our members use. It takes 4 to 5 hours online. Same thing with our staff. But as long as you have that, I'm great because our captains will take you out and work with you too.
Yeah, I recently did that boating safety endorsement and got that card, and it was a really good class.
Yeah, no, it is a good class, but there's nothing like touching the wheel a little bit.
100%.
And
100%.
it's scary. Like when we first opened, at every marina, but even here, there's people that have had their boat here for 20 years. They kind of have this idea of a rental boat in their head, and they're nervous. And after 2 years here, we started having marina slip holders actually ask if they could put their boats next to the club boats rather than the new guy who just bought a boat. Because we see it every summer where, people in the marina just bought a brand new boat. Sales guy tosses them the keys, says good luck, and they'll come in and say, "Hey, can we hire your boat club trainer to train us for the day?" So we do try to do that once in a while as well, because it's a nerve-wracking thing. Actually, it's funny growing up. First time my dad bought a boat, he bought a 30-foot center console, and he was so scared to take us anywhere in the Pac Bay tubing that I thought it was just normal for everybody to go tubing in the ocean. He didn't want to run aground. I remember the first time I got on a friend's boat and we went tubing in the bay, I kind of looked around like, thought you're supposed to go for the waves out in the ocean, and everybody looked at me like I was the crazy one. It just turns out he was too scared to go anywhere in the Back Bay and run aground or get stuck. So, no, definitely, and a lot of the training isn't necessarily just on the water. Like, once we teach you how to drive a boat, you know how to drive it, you don't necessarily need us on board holding your hand. So a lot of times it's members just coming in the office going, I'm going here for the first time, or hey, we're going to go anchor up somewhere, or hey, can you show us some fishing spots? And we'll go over the map with you. You can sit in the office with us. We also purchase every member an app called Wave Boating, which is essentially kind of like a Waze GPS app. But it's cool because they unloaded a club feature last year where every member that's under Carefree Boat Club, we can preload it with fishing spots, tubing spots, restaurants.
Really?
So, I love the app for preparing for a trip.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm on the water, I don't like messing with the GPS. I like to kind of see where I'm at. I don't like pressing the buttons or ending up kind of out of whack. So before I go anywhere, I map it out on Wave, and then I know I have it as a backup resource. If I get stuck or if I get somewhere that I'm unsure, do I go left or right here? Wave has come in handy quite a few times for me.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
So we get that for each member as well. So we really try to make sure, you're confident and comfortable.
So once they're on the boat, they really are equipped.
They know where they're going. They can always call us. They're in constant communication with us. We have a tracker so we know where they are. So if anybody ever is stuck and they have to call CTO or something like that, we're on the phone with CTO giving them exact coordinates, making it, as effortless and painless as we can.
Very nice. Very nice. That's fantastic. And how are your locations doing over in Margate and Ocean City?
It's been great. I think Ocean City was probably a little slower than we expected last year, but I think it was a combination of, people going back to work, fuel prices as high as they were, some stuff with the economy. I also think because we're just over the bridge to Marmora, I think there is a little bit of a mental factor of, leaving the island. That, I live in Cape May Courthouse now, but I grew up in Sea Isle. And in the off season, my friends will come over all the time. But this time of year, it's like I live, on the other side of the world.
Sure.
So, but that being said, we've had a great start to this year. We just added some jet skis over in Ocean City as well. And then Margate being right on the other side has kind of opened us up to, The Summers Point crowd are the north end of Ocean City members because they can share it with a friend who's in Margate or Longport, and they can each use that one location. So we've had an awesome start to this year, and I'm really excited. Both marinas we're at are kind of all in on being partners with us and making improvements. In Ocean City, they started bringing in food trucks every Saturday now. BYOB, kind of a fun place to hang out when you get back from the dock.
Mm-hmm.
And in Margate, we're right across the street from Tomatoes and Stephen Cookies and Maynard's. Amherst Ave is awesome at Scott's Dock, and that's just a fun place to be.
Mm-hmm.
So really excited about both of those locations. And our next plans are hopefully next summer to put a couple boats over in Wildwood.
Oh wow, that's exciting.
That's kind of what,
Continue
again,
to grow.
as long as
Continue
everything
to
goes
grow.
is good this year. But yes, continuing to grow, and with us being flexible about who people name as a person, as we grow, it's great because a Wildwood person could have a friend in Margate or Ocean City, and they could both be members and have access to boats kind of around the corner and share that membership.
And how can people get a hold of you and find out more information?
So if you go to southjerseyboatclub.com, you can go right on there. If you fill out the form on the first page, we'll shoot you one email. We're not one of these companies that blast you with emails or text every day or a new deal or something like that. If you fill out the form on the homepage, we'll send you the pricing, list of boats, FAQs. You can also find us on Instagram at Carefree Boat Club of South Jersey, and same name for Facebook. Or if you come out to the Wharf on June 23rd or the Deauville on July 28th, we're having two big member events both of those days where we'll have at least 10 to 12 of our boats there. But, you can come talk to members, ask them about their experience, and come check out some of the boats in person there as well.
Yeah, the boat's beautiful.
I appreciate you saying that. We take a lot of pride in trying
The
to
boats
keep
are
them in good
gorgeous.
shape. So I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, and we'll take some pictures and we'll certainly post those as well.
And we're excited to partner with Beach Bucket. One of the reasons I reached out to you is because we've been trying to figure out how to get kind of the whole service for members where we can have food waiting on the boat for them. And I came across you guys delivering to the beach, and I'm like, this would be awesome if members could call in hoagies, have it on the boat. Our staff will keep them cold till they get there, and when they arrive, we'll have them on the boat. So I'm excited to do that.
That's right. So at the Ocean City location, if you're boating over there, you can call into Beach Bucket Lunch and order lunch, and we'll hook you up.
Our staff will have it there waiting for you. Get on the boat, hoagies ready to go.
That's right.
It's hard to beat that.
That's right. No, that's right.
In Margate, Betty's Seafood Shack just opened up next door, so they're offering to cook your fish. So at our Margate location, if you go out, catch flounder, come back, our staff will fillet it for you. You walk next door, they'll cook it,
Oh, that's perfect.
which is pretty awesome as well. And then here in Avalon, we're lucky to have an awesome kind of back area behind the marina, turf, chairs, cornhole. So here a lot of times members will come back, finish their reservation, watch the sunset,
Oh, this is
guests
beautiful.
finish drinks, kind of hang out for a little bit as well.
Now, this is a family marina we're sitting at right here, right?
Yep, so my family's been here for a little over 20 years now. So it's been awesome. We always worked here on the docks in the summers and we ran a little bit, but it used to be like most marinas where we had a marina manager and a couple helpers, but relatively quiet. We don't have a tackle shop, we don't have a bait shop. We basically sell ice. Since we've brought the boat club in, we've really been able to kind of upgrade services for the entire marina. Now that we have 50 kids on staff, we wash people's boats. We're here to help all the marina slip holders. So the boat club's actually been an awesome thing to have kind of help upgrade the marina. And we've gotten pretty much the same feedback at both of the other marinas we've moved into. One of our big things is when we come into a marina, our guys know we're to be an asset for the whole marina. So it's any boater, anybody there, if we can help, we can lend a hand. What good is it? Not looking at. So it's been a great way to establish relationships as we start to expand.
Very nice. Now, what if someone is a member of Carefree Boat Club and they go out of the area and they want to be able to boat with another Carefree Boat Club?
That's one of the coolest features and one of the reasons we chose Carefree and not just to start our own independent boat club is members get reciprocity all around the country and now internationally. So I think they're up to over 140 locations. I think there's over 24 in Florida now. I actually went with one of our members last year to Panama. A member I became pretty good friends with. We took a weekend trip. We saw cheap flights. We're like, hey, a boat club just opened there. We went out, kind of went past the canal, went to islands right off the shores of Panama. And it was cool. We got to order lunch. They delivered it by boat to us. Swim for the day. That was a really cool trip. But we've had members go Chicago, I hear, is a beautiful club. San Diego, Seattle. Seattle's cool because they have 6 different clubs, and from what I'm told, they have one on a lake, one on a river, one on the ocean. Like, there's 4 different types of bodies of water you can boat on if you're out there. So yeah, members get unlimited access. If you join South Jersey, you can use all 3 of our locations as much as you want. We do have you choose a home location so you can track that member to boat ratio. But then you can go to every other club in the country 3 times a year at every location.
That's fantastic.
I
Thank
think
you.
of any other. I think that covers most of it.
I
To be
know.
honest, it's a pretty awesome.
It's an awesome service. You got to be excited for this summer.
It's great. This summer we have a new double-decker pontoon with the slide coming out. So I know a lot of families are excited about that. We have been dealing with quite a few supply chain issues. So we got the boat in April. Sent an email out to the members, new boat.
I want to see that.
The engines are supposed to be delivered this week. So
Nice.
all of our new pontoon boats, we've been waiting on engines. Just got our jet skis in the water. So that's probably the biggest challenge for our end, is dealing with supply chain issues and manufacturers. But we're lucky to have an awesome staff, because when the boats get here, or the engines get here, we have a quick turnaround time, get them in the water. So yeah, the double-decker pontoon should be here within 2 weeks.
Very nice. Very nice. I'll keep an eye out.
Absolutely.
I'll be back for that. Well, thank you, Sean. I appreciate you being here.
I appreciate you coming out. I'm looking forward to working with you in Beach Bucket
Absolutely.
and putting you in front of the members. I think that'll be an awesome kind of experience for them.
Getting out on the water.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.